Did you believe that though? Like,
Not within me,
Okay.
but I had to because it's coming from a specialist and people around me. It's like, you have to trust the specialist.
It's a hard knock life, and this is Siu Lim, your host for today, and I have my guest today, Usha.
Hi, Siu.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I invited you over because I was actually very fascinated about your story. I heard about you have two daughters,
Yes, I do.
and tell me about your daughters.
My elder girl, she is 23. Her name is Rihanna. And my second girl is Ivana Nehanda, and she's 20. My elder girl, she finished her degree in psychology, and she works with kids with autism. And my younger girl, she's doing a diploma.
Okay.
Yeah, and she has cerebral palsy. She has a disability.
Cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Now that, actually, I don't know what that is. I'll be honest with you. I read about it. I was told about it, and I just wanted to learn from your experience. What is it? What is cerebral?
Okay, for my daughter, cerebral palsy actually affected her movements, her mobility. So she can't do anything on her own, like self-care, like to shower, you need some assistant, like a caretaker, and she can't dress on her own. And she's not mobile, she's on wheelchair 24/7.
Okay.
So these are her difficulty, her challenges.
At what age did you figure out?
That was late. I mean, I would consider that late, 18 months, because everybody kept
18
saying...
months old.
18 months old.
Oh, wow. Quite
Yeah.
early.
For me, it was late because I noticed there was a difference much earlier than that. But people around me said, no, she's fine. Just give her the time.
A mother's intuition.
Yes.
You knew there's something. What, for example, what did she do? That
Because I have my elder girl, what she has done, certain things that I did not see in my daughter, like turning. A child turns at certain milestones.
just on the bed, turning. So
Yeah,
something
she
simple.
didn't have that. She couldn't sit. When I take her to a pediatrician, they will tell me, just give her the time. Some children don't turn. They just sit.
Did you believe that though? Like did you
Not
just-
within me,
Okay.
but I had to because it's coming from a specialist and people around me. It's like, you have to trust the specialist.
Oh, right.
So though
Okay.
it's not, there is something not right, but people around you, that's very important. People around you need to support you, what you're thinking.
Right.
So, and then finally the pediatrician, he told me, come back at 18 months and we will do a MRI and see. And then they diagnose, there is.
Oh, so they diagnosed at that point. You said that her challenges was a movement, correct? Mobility.
Yes.
Meaning right now she's on a wheelchair. What other challenges can a person with that have?
Some children with cerebral palsy they are not verbal.
They're not verbal. Okay.
Yeah. So like my daughter, she's verbal.
Okay.
So that's it's easier to communicate and things like that. But some childs are not verbal. Some, they have autism plus cerebral palsy. So there are a lot of things each child go through with cerebral palsy.
Like, let's talk about her. How did it affect her growing up? Like for safety issues, for example. Like, were you ever concerned about her because she couldn't move? Did you worry? Any particular worries?
Okay, not when she was small because I'm 24/7 with her. I was taking her for physio and all that. But when she started going to kindy, then I was a bit worried because she's not mobile. She's on wheelchair.
Right.
What will the other kids might tend to do to her?
They might bully her, right?
Yeah, and she's not able to do anything in return, like, how to protect. So, but somehow she's the kind of kid which her motto or her quote for every day is no.
No.
Everything you ask
She
her.
verbally was strong.
Verbally she was
knew how to-
strong. Everything you ask her, it's like no. So that way was a bit easy because anything you ask her, she says no.
Okay. Okay.
So, but I was still scared of her, getting bullied, as you mentioned, bullied or something, taking her things away and all that. So I had to teach her those things. like how to protect herself, her things, her belonging. And
I'm just very curious because, I mean, nowadays, through the recent stories, there's a lot of stories going around about kids being SA'd and all. And this is a concern for me as a parent. And for a child that's immobile, do you ever feel concerned that, something in that effect might happen to her because she's not mobile?
yes, I do. That's always my concern, how is she going to survive on her own,
Right.
rest of her life. So we know people with disability are the most vulnerable people.
Yeah.
They are known for sexual abuse.
Yeah.
All kind of things. So
which is unimaginable. I mean, I didn't believe it when I first heard it.
Yeah.
But I guess they get the vulnerable ones. I mean, did you have to teach her a good touch from bad touch?
Yes, I do. I mean, it
How did you do
started with my elder girl,
Okay.
I would say. And, every mom go through certain things. First time mom, everything is trial and error.
Yes.
So I think I started with my elder girl as a baby. When you bring them out of a shower,
Okay.
first thing you do, you play like a game.
Right.
And you cover with a towel, and someone comes in and says, cover.
Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't think of it that time, but now you think about it, actually, that was a way of teaching them, cover
Right.
yourself. It's your
Yeah.
private.
Protect yourself. This
Protect
is your body.
Your body.
Yeah.
So I think I did that with my elder girl first, and then same with my second girl. She was verbal. So I could teach her all that. She understood all that. So I taught her the same thing. And then the next one for my elder girl was when you teach her potty training. Quickly wear your clothes on.
Right.
Those are the steps I started teaching my kids. But my second girl, I couldn't do that. She was not mobile.
Right.
So I have to have a place when I'm changing her, it's private.
Okay.
So these are the small things from a very young age I do.
Yeah, because I can imagine when they go to school, you're no longer around. Let's say she has to go to the toilet. How is it that she goes about with that?
I did have a caretaker who goes with her to the school. So I make sure I teach the caretaker what to do, and I will be there.
And you trusted this caretaker?
I'm there.
You're there. Okay.
I can't physically carry my child after she was 10 because I have a severe scoliosis.
Okay.
So I needed to hire someone, to help me out.
Yeah.
So I take the caretaker to the school. I'm there, and the caretaker is there. So when my child needs to go to the washroom, usually it's not during the busy hours. It usually will be the quieter time. I'll take her to the washroom, and I've taught her how to sit, how to place, sheets on the seat, and lift her up and put in, and then change her back. So we knew how to do with the closed door.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then going back to how teaching her what a safe, good touch and bad touch is. How did you tell her? Did you show her? I mean, how do you?
Again, I'll go back to the childhood time. I teach them through books. There are some stories.
Books, yeah, definitely.
They have the pictures.
Correct.
And relate it better
right.
with books and pictures.
It's the same thing with me,
Yeah. So that was my first step. Another second step, I will say, teaching them through books, good touch, bad touch. And the other thing is, my elder girl, we had boundaries,
Right.
Basically we teach them good touch, bad touch. It's the first thing we use. No touching, about the things in the house.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a no touching. So that was like boundary, first rule of boundaries.
Right.
So for my elder girl, I had a space in the house, in the living room, where her toys, she loved Winnie the Pooh. So she had a round table with Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, and she would play. And then there's a wall. So I allowed that wall for her. It's her private space.
For your
her
eldest
personal.
daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she could draw anything in that wall, do anything there, but anything else outside that space, it's not allowed. It's a no. So at a young age of 2, she told a grand auntie one day who came to the house, who touched one of the ornaments. She looked at the grand auntie and said, no. So she knew her boundaries.
That's
like,
amazing.
They learn. They learn.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with teaching your child the word no.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you don't want, they feel shy. And I think with kids who feel shy, that's when they're most vulnerable, and then you don't want them to take advantage of. So I agree, teaching your kids to say no and to understand what belongs to them, what's their property, for example, their bodies, their
Exactly.
space, is a very fair thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so your second daughter, did she?
Okay, my second daughter, she didn't have those space because she was not mobile.
Right.
But what my second daughter was doing, because she can't move, so when she has an argument or a fight with her sister, the thing she will do is she will grab. She grab things and she pulled the sister's hair.
Well,
So-
like typical sister.
Yeah,
love.
but that's no touching, so I teach her the boundaries of touching. No, even if it's your sibling, you're not allowed to touch
That's great.
or pull your sibling's hair
sibling.
or anything like that. So there's a boundary again.
Yeah.
Children's being children, they will say, "Mom is being,
Mean. Yeah,
she's only being nice to the sister."
Yeah. She's never on my side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So these are the things that you go through and you teach. I mean, being mothers, it's no right or wrong. You know, we all learn the process.
Yeah, we forget that we're all learning too.
Yeah,
and there's no
exactly.
judging other moms or parents of
Yeah.
what they do. Everyone has their own ways.
Correct.
So I do agree with you. Like, you don't just suddenly teach your child like at a certain age, like, okay, you're now 12 years old. Okay, I'm going to teach you now.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing thing. You start them from very young.
Correct.
How they need to take care of that their possession is their possession. And learning to say no is not a bad thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. But now your daughter is 20 years old.
Yes.
Now she's starting to, she's an adult now. How is she coping with,
She has become a bit of introvert. And getting her out, it's a little difficult. I think that's the kind of issues that I'm facing with her right now. She doesn't like to really go out and all that. But there's a catch on that. They're always on the social media, in the gadget.
Yeah.
That actually scares me, actually.
Yeah. Scares me.
The
I
kind
think with social media nowadays, I also feel like when it comes to good touch, bad touch kind of topics, it's all around social media. I mean, TikTok talks a lot about it and stuff. So sometimes we feel like we don't need to teach them. We don't have to talk about it with them. But at the same time, we do, because sometimes I've experienced, not myself, but like I know of some friends or family members who's actually gone through it without knowing they went through it. Get me? Like, for example, their uncle or will actually touch him in ways because it's their uncle, because it's a close somebody. They tend to forget that they have to say no to that uncle because the uncle's been around forever, for example, right? And while it's anything's happening, they don't realize it's happening. You know,
true.
So we don't know. I had an experience when I was younger where I didn't go that far, but my neighbor always asked me to come over his house. He was a single man, and he always asked me to go over his house. I remember being 8 to 10 years old, and what had happened was my mom always warned me, don't go over his house.
Okay.
Don't go to his house. If uncle asks you to go. And the thing is, my parents and him were very nice to each other. They were neighbors. They brought each other, donuts or cake or whatnot. And he was like a manager at some really big company. And it was something in my mother's instinct that was like, don't go to his house. No matter how many times he asked you, don't go to his house. And when I'm not home, because back in the day, we were at home a lot by ourselves. She always told me and my brother, don't go outside when he's outside. And I never knew at that time.
Okay.
Honestly, being 8, 9, 10, I never understood why she didn't let me near this nice uncle that always gave me candy and always, gave me soda. I never understood.
She saw something
She
that you
saw
didn't.
something. She just knew. But I never understood at that time until now that I have my own kids. I understand why she never told me like, oh, I'm scared that, he touches you. Whatnot. She just knew. But now I think back about this and I think, thank God my mom told me not to, to warned me. But she never explained. And I do wish, looking back, she explained why I wasn't allowed to go to his house. I never understood. I just thought she was being a mean mom, like you.
So you never had the chance to ask your mom?
No, I never actually went back to talk
okay.
about it. I mean, are your girls comfortable with talking to you about, like, are they quite open with a lot?
They do share, but I don't know how much they're sharing, but
Yeah.
they do share. They will start off like something like about their friend having an affair with someone and then how it's going. And then they'll say, he's weird, those words.
Right.
That is something not right. I don't know what's wrong. Like they do notice there is something that's a boundary that the friend is crossing,
Right.
but these are the things that I hear from them, but I don't know how much secrets, kids being in their teens
Yeah,
and
yeah.
20s. It's easier to talk to them when they're smaller, younger, they are more open. When they're teenage, you can't question them too much too.
Correct. Yeah, because otherwise they're like, "Gosh, mom,
You're
you're so
nagging."
annoying. You're so nosy."
Exactly.
And that actually, I mean, people get scared when the kids are young, but actually, it's scarier when they're older.
Exactly.
Because they're not willing to share. I would say, would that be when your kids were growing up and the girls were getting older and older? Would have been a bigger concern?
Oh, yes, it was. Especially, talking about my second girl, she's always on social media. I do know she did share with me there are people who text her, start talking to her, and then the conversation turns another way. They ask for nudes. They ask for other things, So I'm a bit worried about love bombing. They talk
Yes.
sweet, whether they will fall for it. Although they know their boundaries. Right now I hear they know their boundaries. But what if,
Yeah. Have
that,
you spoken to her about it?
yes, I do. But every time we speak, it sounds like she knows her boundaries.
It sounds like it. Yeah. They
Yeah.
always sound like they know it.
But, as a mom, you still worry whether
The
they
instinct.
will, accidentally fall for it.
Yeah, because I mean, you think back about when we were younger, we fell for a lot of things, and then we look back and we're like, we were like,
True.
we were dumb. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean, I'm sure you get scared. You tell her, hey, don't do this. Make sure this is it. And she goes, yeah, mom, I know,
Yeah,
I
I know.
know.
Exactly.
But
So-
how much do they
How
really
much,
know?
The other thing I'm worried, my elder girl, she goes on e-hailing. Usually I drive or a friend drives.
Okay.
E-hailing. You hear a lot of things.
Yeah.
Seeing strangers. These are strange men, out
Yeah.
there. So what happens, What happens if something goes wrong, when you're going alone in these cars?
It's hard because you don't want to be naive, but at the same time you don't want to be overprotective. There's a fine line between
Yeah.
both. You want your child to be independent, yet at the same time you're like, okay, I'm not so worried about them.
There were people who ask me, if you're worried, why do you send her in e-hailing? Sign her by yourself. But how long am I going to do? She's going to be an independent woman one day.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to teach her something.
Correct.
She has to see the world.
Correct.
But again, as a mom, maybe an Asian mom, you still worry when they go. So what I do when I'm really worried, she's alone or something, I'll just ask her to share the location, live location.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean-
an amazing thing about technology nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the benefit of it. But again, how much?
Yeah.
So these are the small steps we can do to protect them and advise them. But
Again, starting them from young, all these little habits.
yeah, little habits,
little
yeah.
warning signs,
True.
whatnot.
Correct.
And your daughter's 20. How is she now? Like, you told me that she is now. Is she graduating? Is she?
The elder girl?
Yeah. Oh no, the.
The younger one, she's doing a diploma now. She'll be graduating that and then do her degree in math.
Wow, you must be really proud of her.
She's amazing. She's
You must be
actually a
proud-
smart.
I'm actually proud of you as a mom.
Thank you.
Because we don't, I mean, we don't realize that you'd have, as a mom, as a parent, we go through so much
Yeah.
to.
All mothers are amazing. We all have our own
Yeah.
challenges and
We
strengths.
do. Yeah. Challenges and strength she has right now was probably the strength that she got it from you, really. Yeah.
I mean, I think she's got her own strength. I mean, I would be glad that if I would have helped her in certain ways.
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, as a woman, I would like her to be independent. Although with her mobility issues, I still want her to be independent.
Right.
and protect herself. These are the things that's always in my mind.
Like, what would be one advice you would give to parents, especially moms? No, actually, moms and dads, actually, about teaching the children of the importance of personal boundaries.
Okay, there's no right or wrong, but for me, to mothers is, you're doing amazing. Just teach them what you can. Just be open with them. Have a good conversation. Basically, it's
Communication.
Yeah.
It's always the key to everything.
Yeah.
There's no point to not, to not talk about good touch and bad touch. Some people, some parents only talk about the good touch.
Yes, exactly.
We forget that we have to go to that part of the bad touch, to talk about the personal space, personal boundaries that we have. It's something that I wish my parents did talk to me about, personal boundaries.
I think neither did my parents
Yeah,
talk about
really.
it.
Again, it might be the Asian thing.
Asian thing, yeah. All they know is just no, no, no. Why no? We
But
don't
why
know.
no? We don't know.
Exactly.
And it's important for them to know why. Why is nobody allowed to touch this part,
Yes.
whatnot? Yeah.
At least now we have, the swimming suit. You don't touch people in the swimming suit
Yeah.
areas. Those are the private areas. These little things you teach your kid from a very young age. Doesn't have to be, when they're teens. It can be very young, as long as they understand your language,
Yeah.
the language they understand.
Correct. And it has to come from also a very friendly kind of safe space, because I know that my mom was explaining some of these things to me, if she ever did. It would be in a very uncomfortable state, like a very almost in an attacking way, like as if I did something wrong, and it always made me feel uncomfortable, because I always thought I would got in trouble for something that I didn't really do, so that
I think I share the same feeling. I think after talking to you, I think I share the same feeling, but I think about my children. I think they think the same way with me.
You think so? It's so
Yeah.
funny. We always want to not follow our parents' footsteps, and we ended up.
Yeah, exactly.
We might end up like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But we live and we learn, isn't it?
Yeah, we learn. That's why I said, no, mother, we don't do, we don't have the right or wrong.
Yeah.
We all learn through experience.
We do.
So everything is first time for us.
Yeah, it is. But I want to thank you so much for coming
for
on.
having me.
Sue. Yeah,
It was
it's a
good.
touchy topic, but it's we got to talk about it. All right.
Thank you.
I wish you the best, and I want to
I
say
wish you
hi.
the same.
Yeah, say hi to the girls for me.
Thank you, I will.
Yeah, and that concludes the episode of It's a Touchy Topic. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
joining us.
All right.
Have a good one.
Bye.